Maya had always loved the forest near her village. The trees were tall, their thick branches reaching for the sky like arms, and the sunlight poured in golden streams through the leaves. Birds chirped above, and the wind whispered gently through the trees. She often came here to escape the noise of her small home and to think quietly. Today, however, the forest felt different. As she walked along the familiar paths, she noticed a sound she had never heard before. It was faint at first, a soft clinking of metal, almost like a tiny bell, but slower and heavier. Maya stopped and listened carefully. Her heart began to beat faster. She was not scared, but her curiosity grew stronger. She wanted to know where the sound came from. Pushing through thick bushes, she moved closer to the source of the noise. The leaves crunched under her feet, and the smell of damp earth grew stronger. That was when she saw it. A pair of rusty rails appeared in the ground, stretching into the forest. They were small, too narrow for a real train, but long and straight, disappearing into the thick trees. Maya knelt and ran her fingers along one of the rails. It was cold and rough, covered in rust, and clearly very old. She stood up and looked around. No one else was near, and the forest was silent except for the soft wind and the distant chirping of birds. The rails seemed to call her, as if they had been waiting for someone to follow them. Maya took a deep breath and decided to explore further. She wanted to see where they led. She knew it might be strange or even dangerous, but the pull of mystery was stronger than fear. Maya reached into her backpack and pulled out a small flashlight. She had never needed it before during the day, but something told her it would be useful. She started walking along the rails. The forest grew darker as the trees grew closer together. Sunlight struggled to reach the ground, and shadows seemed to move in strange patterns. Maya felt a shiver of excitement. Every step she took sounded louder than it should have in the soft earth. The rails led her past familiar trees and hidden streams. Small animals scurried away as she walked, and a few birds flew overhead, startled by her presence. After about 20 minutes, the forest opened into a small clearing, and Maya could see the rails leading to a moss-covered hill. The hill was unusual. It was too perfectly shaped to be natural, with soft green moss covering its smooth surface. At the center, she noticed something that made her eyes widen. A metal hatch was built into the side of the hill. It was old, heavy, and dark, with strange markings that Maya could not understand. The rails went straight into it, disappearing into the unknown. Maya approached slowly. She knelt and examined the hatch. Dust covered it, and the metal was cold to touch. The air coming from the opening was damp and cold, carrying a smell of earth and something older, something hidden for a long time. Maya felt a mix of fear and excitement. She had found something no one else seemed to know about. Her mind raced with questions. Who had built this? What was down there? Why had it been abandoned? After a few moments, curiosity won over hesitation. She took a deep breath, knelt beside the hatch, and tried to lift it. The metal was heavy, and it did not move easily. Maya pushed with all her strength, and the hatch shifted slightly. She adjusted her position and pushed again. Finally, it opened with a loud creak, revealing a narrow staircase leading downward into darkness. A cool, damp breeze escaped, brushing her face and making her hair flutter. Maya shivered but smiled. She had discovered something extraordinary. Maya switched on her flashlight and stepped carefully onto the staircase. The steps were narrow, made of worn stone that felt slippery under her feet. Each step echoed softly in the silence of the underground passage. The walls were rough and damp, covered in moss and small roots from the hill above. The air smelled earthy and old, like the soil itself had been hiding secrets for hundreds of years. As she descended, she noticed the rails continuing down the staircase. They were narrow but sturdy, guiding her path further into the underground world. Maya's mind buzzed with ideas and stories. Maybe this was an old mining tunnel, or perhaps it led to a hidden room where someone had kept treasures long ago. Her imagination raced, but she kept moving forward, careful not to stumble. After a while, the staircase ended, and Maya stepped onto a flat surface. The tunnel opened into a wide underground chamber. Her flashlight illuminated the space, revealing walls carved from stone. The room was much larger than she had imagined. Wooden beams supported the ceiling, and the air was cool but fresh. Dust covered the floor, and small puddles reflected the light from her flashlight. Maya's eyes widened in awe. She had never seen anything like this. At the far end of the chamber, she noticed old carts on the rails. They were rusty and worn, but still intact. Some had strange markings carved into the wood, and one contained objects covered in cloth. Maya approached carefully, feeling a thrill of discovery. The objects looked old, very old, and she wondered who had left them here and why. She lifted one piece of cloth and saw small tools, neatly arranged as if someone had been interrupted while working. Maya's heart beat faster. She realized she had stumbled upon something important. This was not just an old tunnel or an abandoned underground path. Someone had been here, long ago, and they had built this hidden place with care and purpose. Maya felt a mix of excitement and respect. She had to be careful, but she also had to know more. She walked around the chamber, shining her light on every corner. The walls had small carvings, shapes that looked like maps, symbols, and patterns she did not understand. The air was silent except for the soft drip of water from the ceiling. Maya felt a strange connection to this hidden world. It was as if the place had been waiting for someone to discover it. She realized that her adventure had just begun. For hours, Maya explored, moving along the rails and inspecting the chamber. She imagined the people who had built it, the work they had done, and the secrets they had kept hidden. Her mind was full of questions, but she felt a deep sense of wonder. This discovery was more incredible than anything she had ever imagined, and she knew that her life was about to change. Finally, she sat on one of the old carts, taking a moment to rest. Her flashlight flickered slightly, and she listened to the quiet drip of water and the faint echo of her own breathing. Maya smiled. She had found something extraordinary, something that no one else knew about. She did not know all the secrets yet, but she knew she would return. The forest above had hidden a world below, and she was the first to find it in many, many years. Maya carefully marked the entrance in her mind and took a last look around the chamber. The rails, the carts, and the carved walls seemed to hold stories waiting to be told. She felt a thrill of excitement and a promise to herself. She would uncover every secret, piece by piece. For now, though, she had discovered the entrance, and that was enough to make her heart soar. With one last glance, Maya turned back toward the staircase, her mind racing with possibilities. She knew that tomorrow she would return, better prepared and ready to explore further. The forest above seemed ordinary again, but Maya knew the truth. Beneath the hill, hidden and forgotten, lay a secret world waiting for her, and her adventure had only just begun. The next morning, Maya woke up early, her mind still full of thoughts about the underground chamber she had discovered. She could hardly eat her breakfast because she kept thinking about the rails, the hidden hatch, and the strange carvings she had seen. Her curiosity was stronger than ever, and she knew she had to go back. She packed a small bag carefully, including her flashlight, a bottle of water, some snacks, and a notebook to take notes. She wanted to document everything she saw. She also took a small hammer and a pair of gloves, thinking they might be useful for exploring the old underground space. Once she was ready, she left her home quietly and walked toward the forest. The forest seemed peaceful that morning. Birds were singing, and the sunlight filtered gently through the trees. Maya followed the familiar path, moving quickly but carefully. When she reached the moss-covered hill, her heart beat faster. The metal hatch looked the same as yesterday, still old and covered in dust. She knelt and touched it, feeling the cold metal under her fingers. Then, with determination, she lifted it and descended the staircase into the underground chamber. The chamber was just as she remembered, quiet and still, but now it felt more alive. Dust floated in the air, and the cool breeze brushed against her face. Maya switched on her flashlight and looked around carefully. She noticed details she had missed yesterday. Small cracks in the walls showed that the tunnel was even larger than she had thought. Some stones seemed to have been carefully placed, while others looked as if they had fallen naturally over time. Maya walked toward the carts on the rails. She examined the objects covered in cloth more closely. Carefully, she lifted one and found a collection of tools and small mechanical devices. Some were shaped like wheels, others like levers, and some had small gears that clicked when she moved them. Maya was amazed. These were not ordinary tools. Someone had designed them with care and precision, and they must have been used for important work. As she explored, Maya noticed a small door at the far end of the chamber. It was almost hidden, partially covered by a fallen beam. She moved the beam aside and tried the door. Surprisingly, it opened easily. Behind it was a narrow passageway, darker than the chamber she had entered first. The walls were lined with more rails, and the floor was uneven. Maya felt a mixture of excitement and caution. She stepped inside slowly, her flashlight cutting through the darkness. The passage led deeper underground. The air was cooler and smelled even older. Water dripped from the ceiling in small streams, and the sound echoed softly in the tunnel. Maya's footsteps rang out as she moved along the rails. She imagined who might have built this place and why. Perhaps it was a workshop or a secret storage area. The thought that someone had once worked here and left it untouched for years filled her with wonder. After walking for several minutes, Maya entered a large room. This one was different from the first chamber. The walls were covered in shelves filled with boxes, jars, and small wooden crates. Many of the items were dusty, but some looked as if they had been used recently. Maya moved closer to inspect them. She carefully opened a box and found small metal parts, some shaped like tiny keys, others like miniature wheels. She realized that this place must have been a workshop, a hidden place where someone created things that needed skill and patience. Maya's excitement grew. She walked around the room, shining her flashlight on every shelf and box. She found tools she had never seen before, and some materials that looked like they could be used for crafting machines or small vehicles. Each item seemed to tell a story of someone who had worked here for a long time, keeping their work secret. Maya could feel their presence in the room, as if the person who had built it might return at any moment. Then she noticed something even stranger. On one of the shelves was a small, old book. The cover was worn and faded, but Maya carefully picked it up and opened it. Inside were pages filled with drawings and notes. The sketches showed designs of machines, tools, and strange devices she could not recognize. Some of the notes were in a language she did not understand, but she could tell they were instructions, carefully written step by step. Maya's eyes widened. Whoever had built this place had been intelligent and skilled, and they had left a record of their work. Maya spent hours examining the room. She made notes in her notebook, drew sketches of some of the devices, and tried to imagine how they might work. As she explored, she noticed that some of the shelves had hidden compartments. She opened one carefully and found small treasures, coins, old trinkets, and tiny carved figures. They looked valuable not because of their material, but because of the history and effort that must have gone into making them. Maya felt a thrill at holding something that no one had seen for many years. While she explored, Maya also thought about the purpose of the rails. They ran throughout the underground chambers, connecting the rooms. Perhaps they had been used to move carts full of tools or materials from one place to another. Maya carefully climbed onto one of the small carts and tried moving it along the rails. It moved smoothly, even though it was old and covered in dust. She imagined the hidden workshop in full use, with the person moving carts from room to room, building machines, and creating amazing things. As the day passed, Maya felt both excited and tired. The underground chambers were larger and more mysterious than she had expected. She knew there were more rooms she had not yet discovered. Some passages seemed to lead even deeper, and she wanted to explore every corner. But she also knew she needed to rest and return another day. She carefully placed the objects she had moved back where they belonged and made sure the book was safe. Before leaving, Maya took one last look around the workshop. The shelves, boxes, and small carts seemed almost alive in the flashlight beam. She felt a strange connection to the person who had worked here so long ago. They had trusted that their work would remain hidden and safe, and now she was the one to discover it. Maya promised herself that she would return and uncover every secret, piece by piece. She walked back along the rails, up the narrow staircase, and pushed the heavy hatch closed behind her. Outside, the forest was calm and quiet. The sunlight fell gently on the moss-covered hill, hiding the entrance beneath it. Maya smiled. No one else knew about this place, and she felt proud of her discovery. But she also felt a growing sense of anticipation. She had only scratched the surface of the underground world, and she knew the most surprising discoveries were still waiting for her below. Maya returned home, her mind buzzing with ideas and questions. She wrote notes about everything she had seen and drew sketches of the rooms, tools, and machines. She could hardly wait for the next day to return. The underground world had opened a door to a hidden history, a place full of mystery, skill, and secrets. And Maya knew that her life was about to change forever because she had found it. The next day, Maya could not wait to return to the forest. She packed her bag carefully again, making sure she had her flashlight, notebook, water, and some snacks. She also brought a small rope and gloves, thinking she might need them for deeper parts of the underground tunnels. Her excitement was almost too much to contain, and she walked quickly toward the moss-covered hill. The forest was calm that morning. Sunlight filtered through the leaves, birds sang cheerfully, and the smell of fresh earth filled the air. Maya moved quickly but carefully, following the path she had discovered the day before. When she reached the hatch, she knelt and touched the cold metal, just as she had done before. Lifting it, she carefully descended the staircase into the underground chamber. This time, Maya felt more confident. She knew her way around the first room and the hidden workshop. She switched on her flashlight and examined the chamber again, paying attention to the details she had not noticed before. The walls had cracks and small openings, some of which looked like they could lead to other hidden spaces. Maya's curiosity grew. She wanted to explore further than ever before. She walked toward the far end of the chamber, where the small door had led her yesterday. She opened it and stepped into the narrow passageway lined with rails. The air was cooler here, and a faint smell of damp stone filled her nose. She carefully followed the rails deeper into the underground world. Every step echoed softly, and the sound of dripping water created a rhythm that made her heart beat faster with excitement. After several minutes, Maya reached a larger room she had not seen before. It was unlike any room she had explored so far. The walls were carved from stone and covered in strange symbols and patterns. Some of the carvings looked like maps, while others looked like mechanical designs. Maya ran her fingers over the markings, trying to understand them. She did not know what they meant, but they felt important. In the center of the room was a large circular platform. It was made of smooth stone, slightly raised above the floor, and covered with dust. Maya approached it carefully, and shone her flashlight over the surface. To her surprise, she saw lines and symbols etched into the stone. They were similar to the design she had seen in the book yesterday, but larger and more detailed. She realized this platform must have been very important to whoever built this place. Maya circled the platform, looking for clues. As she moved, she noticed a small lever on the side of the raised stone. It was covered in dust, but the metal was still solid. Her heart raced as she wondered what it could do. Carefully, she pulled the lever. There was a soft click, and then a low rumbling sound filled the room. Dust fell from the ceiling as part of the stone floor slowly began to move. Before her eyes, a hidden staircase was revealed beneath the circular platform. It led even deeper into the underground tunnels. Maya's excitement grew. She had expected to find hidden rooms, but she had never imagined the tunnels went even further down. She took a deep breath, held her flashlight tightly, and began to descend the new staircase. The air grew colder as she went down. The walls were damp, and small streams of water ran along the edges of the stairs. Maya carefully moved step by step, imagining the person who had built this hidden world. Whoever it was, they had spent a lot of time and effort creating a place like this. They had designed it with precision and care, and they had left behind tools, books, and symbols that told their story. At the bottom of the staircase, Maya found herself in a large underground hall. It was unlike anything she had seen before. The ceiling was high, supported by stone pillars covered in moss. The floor was smooth, and several smaller rails ran across it, connecting different parts of the hall. Along the walls were more carts, boxes, and tools, some of which looked brand new despite the age of the place. Maya's eyes widened in amazement. In the center of the hall, she noticed a strange object covered with a large cloth. She approached it carefully, her heart beating fast. When she lifted the cloth, she saw a small machine, unlike anything she had ever seen. It had wheels, gears, levers, and pipes that connected in a way that seemed almost alive. Maya ran her fingers gently over it, feeling the smooth metal and the intricate parts. She realized this must have been an important invention for the person who had built it. Maya spent time examining the machine. She noticed small drawings etched on its sides, showing how it worked. Some of the parts seemed movable, while others looked fixed. Maya could not understand everything, but she knew it was special. Whoever had made this machine had been intelligent and skilled, and they had hidden it carefully so no one could find it. Maya felt a thrill of discovery. She had found something very rare and valuable, even if it was not gold or jewels. As she explored the hall, Maya noticed a narrow passage in one corner. It was darker than the rest of the hall, and the rails led directly into it. Curiosity pulled her forward, and she carefully entered the passage. The walls were damp, and the air felt colder here. Her flashlight revealed strange markings on the walls, similar to the ones she had seen on the platform above. Some looked like directions, others like warnings, but she could not understand them completely. The passage led her to a small room at the very end. This room was different from the others. The walls were smooth, and there was a faint glow coming from something in the corner. Maya moved closer and saw a small chest, unlike any she had seen before. The chest was made of dark wood, reinforced with metal, and covered in intricate designs. Her hands trembled with excitement as she touched it. She carefully opened the chest and found dozens of small, shining objects. They looked like stones, but they glimmered with colors she had never seen. Maya picked up one of the stones and held it in the light of her flashlight. It shone brightly, reflecting colors in patterns that seemed almost magical. She realized that these stones were special, and perhaps they had been used in the hidden machines she had seen. Maya's mind raced with possibilities. The person who had built this underground world had left a record of their work, tools, machines, and even mysterious materials that might have been used for inventions or experiments. She spent hours exploring the hall and the small rooms branching from it. Every corner held something new and surprising. Old carts, tools, books, carved symbols, and shining stones all told a story of a person who had worked here with care and dedication. Maya felt honored to have discovered this place. She understood that she was seeing a world that had been hidden for many, many years, and she knew she had a responsibility to preserve it and learn from it. As evening approached, Maya decided it was time to return home. She carefully placed the cloth back over the machine, closed the chest, and made sure everything was as she had found it. She wanted to return and continue her exploration, but she also knew she needed rest. Slowly, she retraced her steps along the rails, climbed the staircase, and pushed the hatch back into place. Outside, the forest was calm and quiet, hiding the entrance beneath its green moss. Maya walked home, her mind full of excitement and plans for the next day. She wrote detailed notes in her notebook and drew sketches of everything she had seen. She realized that the underground world was even larger than she had imagined, with hidden chambers, machines, mysterious stones, and clues about the person who had built it. Maya felt a deep connection to the hidden world and a promise to herself that she would uncover all its secrets. The next morning, Maya could hardly eat breakfast. Her mind was still full of the discoveries from the underground world. She could not stop thinking about the glowing stones, the hidden machines, and the mysterious symbols etched into the walls. Today, she felt ready to explore even further. She packed her bag carefully, including her flashlight, notebook, water, snacks, gloves, and a small rope. Her excitement was like a fire burning inside her. Maya walked quickly through the forest, following the familiar path. Birds chirped overhead, and the sunlight danced on the leaves. She reached the moss-covered hill and knelt to touch the cold metal hatch. Slowly, she lifted it and climbed down the staircase into the underground chamber. The air was cool and smelled of damp stone. Dust floated in the light of her flashlight. Maya felt both excitement and a strange sense of anticipation. Something told her that today she would discover something extraordinary. She walked through the first chamber, past the hidden workshop, and entered the narrow passageway lined with rails. The sound of dripping water echoed in the walls, and the air grew colder as she moved deeper. Her flashlight revealed markings on the walls that she had not noticed before. Some of the symbols looked like letters or numbers, but Maya could not understand them. Others seemed like small diagrams, showing shapes and connections. She made notes in her notebook, carefully drawing the symbols to study later. Following the rails deeper into the underground world, Maya reached the large hall with the circular platform she had discovered before. She approached the platform and noticed the lever on its side. With a deep breath, she pulled it. The platform moved with a low rumble, revealing the staircase leading even further down. Maya stepped carefully onto the stairs. The air grew colder, and the darkness seemed to grow thicker around her. At the bottom of the staircase, she entered a vast chamber she had never seen before. This room was enormous, and the ceiling stretched high above her head. Stone pillars supported it, covered in moss and small carvings. Rails ran in different directions across the floor, connecting to smaller tunnels that disappeared into the shadows. Maya's eyes widened in awe. She realized that the underground world was much larger than she had ever imagined. In the center of the chamber, she noticed a large, metal door. It looked different from anything she had seen before. It was old but polished, and it had strange symbols engraved across its surface. Maya felt a mixture of curiosity and caution. She approached the door and examined it closely. There was a handle shaped like a gear, and several small levers lined the side. It looked like a puzzle, a mechanism that needed to be opened in a certain way. Maya studied the symbols and levers carefully. She remembered the designs in the books and on the machines she had seen before. Slowly, she began to move the levers one by one, testing different combinations. After several minutes, she heard a soft click. The door creaked open, revealing a room beyond. Maya's heart raced with excitement and wonder. She stepped inside, shining her flashlight across the new chamber. The room was breathtaking. It was filled with machines, tools, and devices of all sizes. Some were small, like the ones she had seen before, but others were much larger. There were tables covered with strange instruments, and shelves stacked with materials that shimmered in the light. Maya noticed diagrams on the walls showing the designs of complex machines she could not even begin to understand. She realized that whoever had built this place was a genius, working in secret to create amazing inventions. As Maya explored, she noticed a small pedestal in the center of the room. On it was a glass case, and inside the case lay a small, glowing crystal. The crystal was unlike anything she had seen before. It shone with a soft, inner light, and tiny patterns moved across its surface. Maya felt drawn to it, as if it was calling her. She carefully lifted the crystal from the case. The light grew brighter in her hands, illuminating the chamber with a warm glow. Maya examined the crystal closely. She could feel a faint vibration, almost like a heartbeat. It seemed to respond to her touch. She wondered if it was part of the machines she had seen. Perhaps it was a source of power or energy for the underground inventions. Maya realized that this crystal was the most important discovery she had made so far. It was unique and powerful, and she knew she had to understand its secrets. While studying the crystal, Maya heard a soft sound behind her. She turned quickly, shining her flashlight across the room. A small door in the corner had opened slightly, revealing another hidden passage. Her curiosity pulled her toward it. She carefully walked through the narrow passage and found herself in a smaller chamber. The walls were covered in carvings, showing images of people, machines, and strange symbols. Maya's eyes widened. These carvings seemed to tell a story, a history of the underground world she had discovered. She walked closer to the carvings and traced her fingers over the images. The story seemed to show someone discovering the forest and building a hidden world to protect their inventions. It showed machines powered by crystals and devices designed to help people. Maya realized that the person who had created this underground world had wanted to keep it secret, but also wanted someone to find it one day. She felt a deep connection to the creator, as if they had left this place for her to discover. Maya spent hours in the chamber, studying the carvings and the crystal. She made detailed notes and sketches in her notebook, trying to understand every symbol and design. The more she studied, the more she realized how clever and inventive the creator had been. Every machine, every device, every crystal seemed to have a purpose, and the underground world was a place of knowledge and skill unlike anything she had ever imagined. As the day passed, Maya decided it was time to leave. She carefully returned the crystal to its pedestal, making sure everything was as she had found it. She walked back through the hidden passage, the vast hall, and the staircase, following the rails all the way to the first chamber. Climbing up the stairs, she pushed the hatch closed and stepped into the forest. The sunlight felt warm on her face, and the birds sang as if nothing had changed, hiding the extraordinary world beneath the hill. Maya walked home slowly, her mind racing. She had discovered something incredible, a hidden world full of machines, crystals, and knowledge. She realized that this discovery was only the beginning. There were still many rooms to explore, many secrets to uncover, and many mysteries to solve. She felt a thrill of excitement and a sense of responsibility. She knew that she had found something very special, and it was up to her to learn from it and protect it. That evening, Maya sat at her desk, writing notes and drawing sketches of the machines, crystals, and carvings she had seen. She could hardly believe that such a world existed beneath the forest she had walked through so many times. She smiled, feeling proud of her discovery and excited for the adventures ahead. The underground world had revealed its secrets slowly, but she knew it had much more to show her. Maya went to bed that night with a sense of wonder and anticipation. She dreamed of machines powered by glowing crystals, of hidden passages, and of the person who had built this underground world. She felt a deep connection to the place and knew that her life had changed forever. Tomorrow, she would return and continue her exploration, ready to uncover the final secrets of the hidden world beneath the forest. The next morning, Maya woke up feeling a mixture of excitement and nervousness. She had explored so much of the underground world already, but today she felt she might discover something truly extraordinary. She packed her bag carefully, including her flashlight, notebook, water, snacks, gloves, and rope. She also brought a small magnifying glass and a pen, thinking they might help her study the strange crystals and carvings she had seen before. Walking through the forest, Maya felt the familiar sense of anticipation. Birds sang above, the sunlight danced through the leaves, and the forest seemed peaceful. But Maya knew that beneath the moss-covered hill, something incredible waited for her. When she reached the hatch, she knelt to touch the cold metal, then lifted it and descended the staircase. The underground chamber greeted her with cool, damp air. Dust floated in the beam of her flashlight, and the faint echo of dripping water filled the quiet. Maya moved quickly through the first chamber and past the hidden workshop. She followed the narrow passageway lined with rails, her excitement growing with every step. The markings on the walls seemed even clearer today, and she traced them carefully in her notebook. They told a story she was beginning to understand. The underground world had been created to protect knowledge, inventions, and rare materials that could change the way people lived. Maya's curiosity pushed her forward, eager to see more. She reached the large hall with the circular platform. The lever on the side still looked sturdy, and she pulled it carefully. The platform shifted, revealing the hidden staircase leading further down. Maya descended slowly, feeling the air grow colder and damper. At the bottom, she entered a massive chamber she had never seen before. The ceiling soared high above her, supported by stone pillars, and the floor was covered with rails that led in multiple directions. Shelves, machines, and glowing crystals were arranged neatly across the space. In the center of the chamber, Maya noticed a small, round table with a set of intricate tools on it. They were unlike anything she had seen before, tiny gears, levers, and miniature devices that seemed alive with movement. Next to the table was a pedestal holding a glowing crystal. Maya approached it carefully. The crystal pulsed gently in her hand, filling the chamber with warm light. She realized that this was the most important crystal she had found so far, and she wanted to study it carefully. While examining the crystal, Maya's flashlight caught a narrow passage she had not noticed before. It was almost hidden behind a row of shelves, and the rails led directly into it. Her heart raced as she realized this might be the deepest part of the underground world. She stepped carefully into the passage, shining her light ahead. The walls were smooth, and the air felt colder. Symbols and diagrams were etched into the stone, showing connections between machines, crystals, and devices. Maya traced them with her fingers, trying to understand their meaning. The passage led her to a large door, larger than any she had seen before. It was made of polished stone and metal, with a complex system of levers and gears. Maya examined the door carefully. The carvings showed instructions for opening it, much like the puzzles she had solved before. She moved the levers slowly, listening to the soft clicks as the mechanisms shifted. Finally, with a low rumble, the door began to open. A warm, golden light spilled out from the room beyond, and Maya stepped inside. The sight that greeted her took her breath away. The room was enormous, filled with inventions and machines of all sizes. Some were small, delicate devices, while others were large enough to fill the room. Crystals of every color glowed softly, illuminating the space. Shelves were filled with books, tools, and materials carefully arranged as if someone had been working there yesterday. In the center of the room stood a machine unlike anything Maya had ever seen. It was enormous, with spinning gears, levers, and pipes, and it seemed to hum with energy. Maya approached the machine slowly. She realized that this was the most important invention in the entire underground world. The glowing crystals she had found earlier were connected to it, forming a network of energy. She studied the machine carefully, noting the way the gears moved and how the crystals lit up in response to her presence. She realized that the creator of this underground world had designed it to store knowledge, energy, and inventions in a hidden and protected place. As she explored, Maya noticed a small cabinet tucked into the corner of the room. Inside were papers, diagrams, and notes detailing the work that had been done here. The notes explained how the machines worked, how the crystals powered them, and how the entire underground world had been designed. Maya could hardly believe her eyes. She realized that she had discovered a place of incredible knowledge and creativity, a hidden treasure of ideas waiting for someone to understand and use. While reading the notes, Maya discovered something even more surprising. The notes mentioned a final discovery, a secret hidden in the heart of the underground world. It described a small chamber where the most important invention was kept, a device that could bring light and energy to places that had none. Maya's heart raced. She had already seen so much, but this hinted at something even greater. She followed the directions in the notes, moving carefully along the rails toward the chamber. Finally, Maya reached a small door at the far end of the hall. She opened it and stepped inside. The room was small but glowing with a golden light. In the center stood a crystal unlike any she had seen before. It was larger than her head, pulsing with a steady, warm glow. Around it were small machines connected to the crystal with thin pipes and wires. Maya realized that this was the heart of the underground world, the source of energy that powered everything she had seen. She felt a mixture of awe and respect. She stepped closer to the crystal and studied it carefully. The glow filled the room, reflecting in her eyes. She could feel a gentle vibration, like the pulse of life itself. Maya realized that this crystal was not just a source of energy, it was the key to understanding the entire underground world. She examined the connected machines and realized how the energy flowed through them, powering the inventions, machines, and glowing stones she had seen before. Maya spent hours studying the chamber, taking notes and making sketches. She realized that the underground world had been built not only to hide knowledge but to preserve it, to keep it safe for someone who was curious, careful, and brave enough to discover it. She felt proud and honored to be the one who had found it. The person who had built this world had left a legacy, and Maya was the first to uncover it in many years. As evening approached, Maya knew it was time to return to the surface. She carefully retraced her steps, making sure everything was as she had found it. She walked through the glowing chambers, past the machines, carts and rails, and climbed the staircases back to the first chamber. Pushing the hatch closed behind her, she stepped into the forest. The sunlight felt warm and ordinary, hiding the incredible world beneath the moss-covered hill. Maya walked home slowly, her mind racing with thoughts. She had discovered a world full of knowledge, machines, and energy, hidden for many years. She realized that this adventure had changed her life forever. She had learned about curiosity, courage, and the value of discovery. She knew that the underground world had many more secrets, and she promised herself that she would return, study everything carefully, and perhaps even share some of its wonders with others. That night, Maya sat at her desk, writing notes and drawing detailed sketches of the machines, crystals, and chambers she had explored. She felt a deep connection to the underground world and to the person who had built it. She knew that her life had been touched by something extraordinary. She smiled, feeling both excitement and gratitude. The forest above seemed quiet and normal, but Maya knew the truth. Beneath the hill, hidden from the world, lay a secret world of energy, knowledge, and invention. And she had been the one to discover it. Maya went to bed that night dreaming of glowing crystals, moving machines, and hidden passages. She knew that her adventure was far from over, but she also knew that she had uncovered the most important secret. The underground world had chosen her to find it, and she would honor that choice. Her heart was full of wonder, and she felt ready for whatever mysteries awaited her next. Maya had found the hidden world beneath the forest, a place full of energy, inventions, and secrets. She had discovered its treasures, its machines, and its glowing crystals. Most importantly, she had discovered courage, curiosity, and the joy of finding something extraordinary. And from that day forward, Maya knew that life could hold more wonders than she had ever imagined.